All right, so we're going to do intro to circles today, and it's actually pretty simple. It's not that bad at all. The first thing that you're going to do is review writing the equation for this circle. So remember x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So this is your formula that you had, and this is from Math 2. Let's see if I can make it a little bit nicer looking. Sorry, y'all. All right, so this is from Math 2. You learned circles in Math 2. We're really just going to play with the equations. We're not really, we do graph them, but again, that's a review from Math 2. This unit is only about equations. So we're doing circles and parabolas, and again, just equations is what we're focusing on. Now, the next couple units, we're going to get into some geometry stuff, so some volume, and then some for real circle stuff that you learn in Math 3, okay? So you're pretty much your last unit is like parts of circles and stuff like that. So we'll get to that. It's not hard stuff, okay? But it's not as crazy as like the trig functions and stuff that you've already learned. Like that stuff I thought was a little bit harder, but circles are not as bad, okay? Cute little formulas that I give you, you can learn. All right, so remember H and K is your center. So that's your center X and your center Y. And remember when we put things inside of parentheses or we take them out, we just change their sign. And then this last number is your radius squared. So this first equation, you're going to do X. It's a -5 for your center X coordinate. So we're going to change it to +5 because we put it inside of parentheses. Make sure you put the little square on it. Plus Y. And since, again, this is a -5, we're going to change it to +5 squared equals. And then since R is 8, R squared is 64. So it's going to be equal to 64. That's all you do. And again, that's Math 2 stuff, so it should be somewhat familiar to you. You know, you might have forgotten it, but at least maybe now it's a little bit familiar. All right. So look at your next one. This one's kind of weird just because it has the square root and the fraction in it. We will not fix the square root. I'm going to show you how to fix the fraction. You can do it either way. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure. I can't remember how CUDA does their multiple choice, but I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm going to show you both answers and we'll see how it works. So we have a center at 2 square root 43. So that means inside we're going to have a -2 square root 43 squared plus. We have a y and it's a -3/2, so we're going to change it to +3/2. We don't really like that fraction in there, so I'm going to show you how to fix that in a minute, and it's really easy. You've already done it before. If r is the square root of 17, r squared is just going to be 17 because a square root and a square cancels out. Okay, so just showing you how I get that. Now remember, when we have a fraction like this, where can I put that 2? In front of the y. So that's the only other way that you could fix it. So the only other way the equation would look is a 2y plus 3 squared equals 17. I don't care if you don't do that. I just want you to have it just in case on the multiple choice they do that. Okay, so either way is the right answer. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go to number 4, and then I'll move back to number 3. What's your equation for number 4? X plus 1 squared plus, perfect, is equal to, how do we get 9? 3 squared. Everybody okay? Pretty simple. Go back to number 3. I'll put this up here so we can see it all in time. Ta-da, maybe. Center at 2, -4, radius at 9. So what's your formula or your equation? Sorry. Keep going. Equals 9 times 9 is 81. And then one more. Center at -10, -6, and a radius 4. What's my equation? Keep going. You know what? I don't know. Good. Equals 16. All right. So I'm going to hold off on 6 through 10 for a minute. I'm going to hold off. I'm going to go down to 11 and 12, and I want to talk about how you graph them, okay? everybody good? So this is the stuff that we're gonna learn that might be a little bit new. I think you did a little bit of completing the square in Math 2. You guys remember hearing that? Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna review it, but I wanna do the easy stuff first and then we'll go back and do all the hard stuff, okay? So we're gonna go down to number 11. If you have an equation that looks like this, I can rewrite it as x plus 0 squared, y plus 0 squared equals 41, okay? So just being x by itself or y by itself means that that coordinate with it is going to be the 0. So what would our center be? 0, 0. So we plot our center at 0, 0. And then remember that this 41 is your radius squared. So to plot a circle or to graph a circle, I need to know how long the radius is. And remember, the radius is from the center to the outside of the circle. So when I find that out, I can make that distance from the left to the right, top to the bottom, and then make a circle. And I'll show you that in a minute. But I need the radius. So if the radius squared equals 41, how can I just get the radius? Take the square root. And you can go ahead and give me a decimal. This one's really crappy because it's a decimal, but what is the decimal of square root 41? We're just going to go with 6.4. You don't have to do anything more than that. This is going to be kind of an estimation. So from this point, you're going to go 6.4, which is almost 6.5. So I just make a big dot, kind of covers everything, okay? You're going to do that to the right. You're going to do it up. You're going to do it to the left. And you're going to do it down. And then you're going to take those dots and connect them in a circle. This one's going to be a hard one because it's a big circle. You do the best you can. And that's it. Big circles are hard. The little ones are pretty easy. So do the best you can. Just don't make it a diamond shape or a square or whatever. All right. Same thing on the next one. Number 12. What's your center if there's nothing with x and y? 0, 0. Your radius squared is 36. So what does that mean your radius is? You take the square root. Your radius is 6. So we go 6 up, down, left, and right. And again, it's a big circle, so it's kind of hard to do. But make it the best that you can. Sorry, my circles are terrible today. And that's it. We will come back to these other ones, okay? We're going to do this again. Is everybody okay with 11 and 12? We're going to do 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, and 16, 17, 18, and then we'll go back, okay? Because these are all the same ones. So look at this one. Where's your center on 13? What's your radius? 1. Again, we take the square root and it equals 1. So center, up, down, left, right, 1. See how much prettier that little circle is? Big circles are hard. 14. What's my center? What's my radius? So 0, go up, down, left, right, 5. And make your circle. Everybody okay? All right, 15. Center. Radius. So 0, 0, up, down, left, right, 3. And make your circle. Anything hard? Y'all good with that? Okay, the hardest thing on these right now are having to take that square root and have it be a decimal, but do an estimate, do the best you can. All right, take this off. 16. Now the only difference is you actually have numbers with x and y. So what's your center? Remember when we pull it outside of parentheses, we change the sign. So what's our center? 1, 4. So we're going to change it to 1, 4. There's our center. What's our radius? Square root of 4 is 2. So our radius is 2. You go 2 from that dot, up, down, left, right. Y'all, that's it. Same exact thing. We just moved it. We'll talk about transformations soon. How did you move this? You moved it right one up 4. So remember in like the very beginning of the year, we talked about transformations. We'll do that a little bit more this week too and next. Okay. 17. -1, 4 for your center. That's okay. Take the square root of 1 and you get 1. That's your radius. So up, down, left, right, 1. And connect your dots. It's okay if you rush me a little bit. It's fine. That means you know it. We're good. Everybody good with those two? Last one, and then we'll go back to the front page. What's your center? Radius? Again, we take the square root of 1. It's 1. So 4, 1, up, down, left, right. Make your circle. All right. So you guys keep working on your paper. You're fine. I'm going to get a sheet of paper so that I don't have to squish it up and you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. You will be fine on the paper that you have. I just want to make it big enough that you can see it. Okay. So we're going to go back to the first page and we're going to look at how to write this. So what you have, the very first thing you have is like standard form, and this is not in standard form. It's a jumbled mess. Okay. So you have on number 6, we're going to do number 6, x squared plus y squared. You do not have to write this down because it's the problem that's on your paper. Plus 6x minus 18y plus 26. Check that. I wrote it right. Is everybody good? Okay. Y'all tell me if I write something wrong or do something crazy. All right. So what you want to do, your first step is get your x's together and your y's together. And that other singular number, that 26, we want to move it to the other side. We want to get it out of the way. Okay. So this is how I write it. Pay attention real fast. Okay. I do x squared plus 6x, and then I put a blank. If you had Miss Gordon, she does blanks. I do not know what Miss Rose does. Did anybody have Miss Ferris? No. So Rose and Gordon, right? Okay. So I have no idea what Miss Rose does. What I've seen her do is not like, it's not like ours. Okay. I'm not saying it's wrong or right or anything like that. It's just not the same. So if you've done this before, this might look a little different with her, but I think it looks the same with Miss Gordon. All right. So then we put our y's in, plus y squared minus 18y. And we put in a blank because we're going to put a number there. We're going to put equals. And like I said, we have to move the 26 to the other side. So how do I do that? What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I added 2 blanks to the left side. So I need to add 2 blanks to the right side. So to fill in those blanks, you take this middle number, divide it by 2, and square it. What is 6 divided by 2? Squared is. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. You're going to do the same thing on the other one. To get this number, I do 18 divided by 2 squared. It doesn't matter if you use the negative or not, because when we square it, what's going to happen to it? It's going to be positive anyway. So don't worry about your signs, just worry about the number. 18 divided by 2 squared is. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So then we're going to clean it up, and this is how you clean it up. What are your factors of 9 that add to 6? 3 and 3. These are perfect squares. That's why it's called completing the square. Okay, because they're perfect squares, what's going to happen is you're going to have the same number or the same factor twice. So that's where they get that. So I tell my regular kids square root of the first, square root of the last, and whatever that first sign is. Okay, so square root of the first one is x, the sign is plus, the square root of the last is 3, and then we write it as squared. So we move to the next one. We take the square root of the first one, so the square root of y squared is y. What's our sign? And then what's the square root of 81? That's your factor. Again, what are your factors of 81 that add to negative 18? Negative 9 and negative 9. So either way that you do it, it's going to come out right. And then we just add these numbers up. This number is the one that I always get wrong. Y'all don't know how. I don't know what happens. Use your calculators. Negative 26, let me clear this out so you just see that. Plus 9. sorry, plus 81 is 64. That's it. Okay, so that's number 6. And all we wanted was the equation. If I asked you what the center was, what would it be? Negative 39. What's your radius? 8. That's all we're doing today. So if you got this little part, you're good to go. All right, and we'll be doing it with parabolas as well. Parabolas are easier because you only have to do it once. Okay, so circles you have to complete the square twice. Parabolas only once. So let's look at number 7. X squared plus y squared plus 6x plus 16y plus 69 equals 0. What do I have to do first? You can move the 69. What else? All at the same time. X's and Y's together. Perfect. So x squared plus 6x. What comes after that? A blank. Then I have plus y squared plus 16y plus blank. And I'm moving that 69 over by subtraction. And then what I do to one side, I have to do the other. Add the 2 blanks. Remember to get this one, I take this middle number, divide it by 2, and square it. 6 divided by 2 is, squared is 9. It's the same as the one before. It's okay. On the next one, I take 16, divide it by 2, and square it. What I do to one side, I do the other. Clean it up. What are your factors of 9 that add to 6? Or take the square root, the sine, and the square root. What do I get? Perfect. Square root, sine, square root. Before that, what's my whole factor? Y plus 8 squared. Don't forget your little squares up there. That's what makes it a circle, okay? And then equals negative 69 plus 64 plus 9. What's your center? Negative 3, negative 8. What's your radius? Perfect. That's all it is. 8 is x squared plus y squared minus 18x minus 24y plus 209 equals 0. Put your x's and y's together. So how am I going to write my next line? Plus blank. Don't forget your blanks. Next. Good. Equals? Move your 209 over. What I do to one side, I do the other. So 2 blanks as well. First blank. 18 divide 2 squared. Next blank. 24 divided by 2 squared. Give me a minute to write it down. First factor, square root, sine, square root. Perfect. Square root, sine, square root. Equals. Perfect. Center. 912. Radius. That's it. Yeah. Sorry. Is everybody good? All right. Number 9. X squared plus y squared plus 32x plus 14y plus 297 equals 0. Get your x's together. X squared plus 32x plus blank. Get your y's together. Plus y squared plus 14y plus blank equals negative 297. What I do to one side, I have to do the other. Plus blank plus blank. First blank. 32 divided by 2 squared. 256. What I do to one side, I have to do the other. This blank, 14 divided by 2 squared.
49.
First factor, square root, sine, square root. Perfect. Plus, square root, sine, square root. Equals? Okay, let's look at this one really fast. Only because I'm just trying to show you how to do it, because we'll be doing it in just a minute on the last 3 problems or whatever. What's your center on this? What's your radius? Don't give me a decimal. Do not give me a decimal. How do I find the radius? Square root of 8. The reason I'm telling you not to give me a decimal is because on your CUDA problems and stuff like that, and on your test, it's going to be in square root form. So we got to remember how to simplify those square roots. So remember to simplify the square root. 8 factors into 2 times 2 times 2. Are there any pairs? Yes, there's a pair of 2's. That pair comes out because that's the same thing as 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Everybody got it? And then the only thing I left was a 2. So your radius simplified is 2 square root 2. So eventually when you're identifying your center and your radius, you want to make sure that you can simplify those square roots and you don't get in trouble just having decimals or whatever, okay? Any questions, number 9? Just wanted to show you that real fast. All right, number 10, and then we'll get to our last ones. Number 10 is x squared plus y squared. Eventually we will have numbers in front of that, just forewarning you, just not today. Minus 14x plus 12y plus 21 equals 0. All right, put your x's together. X squared minus 14x plus blank plus y squared plus 12y plus blank. Move your 21 over and put your 2 blanks in. You do not have to show the work for the blanks. I just like to show you so that's what it is. So we do 14 divided by 2 squared. What do we get? 49. You can just put in 49 and it'll be okay. This one we do 12 divided by 2 squared. 36. First factor, square root, sine, square root, what'd you say? X minus 7 squared plus square root, sine, square root, What'd you say? Y plus 6 squared equals 64. This one's easy. The center, 7, negative 6. The radius is going to be 8. All right. Any questions on those? Everybody good? All right. So then you have 19 and 20, and it wants you to graph them, so you have to fix it. And again, all you have to do is get your x's and y's on one side, so they just kind of jumble it up even more. And we want to put the number on the other side. So we need to get these over here and this 49 to this side. Okay, so how do we do that? We can go ahead and put our blank, but we're going to talk about this one in just a second. Plus 4y squared plus 8y plus blank. I don't like that this one's on here, and I'm sorry that I have it on here. Minus 49. Don't forget your 2 blanks. All right, so this is as complicated as it gets. This is as complicated as it gets. If you notice, both of these numbers are divisible by 4, right? So I can pull that 4 out. Leaves me with x squared plus 7x plus blank. Same thing on the next one. I can pull out a 4. And it leaves me with that. Don't worry about the ending for a minute, okay? So we'll still have that negative 49 plus blank plus blank. Don't worry about the 4s. Let's look at this part right here. Remember, to get this, we take 7 divided by 2 and square it. It's going to get complicated. You ready? What do you get? Give me the fraction. It's a little bit easier. 49 over 4. I'll tell you why it's easy in just a minute, okay? The next one, 2 divided by 2 is 1, squared is 1. Hold off on your other blocks for just a minute, okay? Hold off on that for just a minute. What you're looking at now is you put in the blank, the 49 over 4, but remember we took that 4 out to begin with. So we got to put it back in there, okay? So we got to put it back in there. So what you're actually going to put in this blank is 4 times 49 over 4. And I'm sorry, that's all squished up. 4 times 49 over 4. And in this blank, you're going to put in 4 times 1. Okay, what you took out times what you put in. What you took out times what you put in. And we'll do many of these real soon, okay? So if you don't get it right now, it's okay. If there's one on your homework or your quiz or whatever, just ask me and I'll help you out. Zoomers, same thing. All right, so now we're going to rewrite it. 4 square root of your first, sine, square root of your last. So square root of x squared is x. Your sign is plus. When you take the square root of a fraction, you take the square root of the top and the square root of the bottom. So what's the square root of 49? Square root of the 4. I'm happy with it like this. If you want to throw that 2 in the front like we did in the beginning, that's fine as well. Okay, but I'm good with this. You don't have to change it. Plus 4 times square root, sine, square root, y plus 1 squared. 4 times 49 over 4, we'll cancel that 4 out and just give you 49. Negative 49 plus 49 is 0. 4 times 1 is 4. What do you notice about all of these? Yeah, so I can factor that 4 out or just divide it by 4. And now what is my center? And I'm not going to graph this one because it's crazy. What's my center? Negative 7 over 2, negative 1. What's my radius? 1. All right, so that's the crappiest problem in the whole world. Don't freak out too much about that. I won't. I typically do not make you graph those on your test, okay? So don't stress out about that. Will you have to find the equation? Most likely you will, okay? All right, this last one is super easy. It's not as hard as that one is. So we have 0 equals negative x squared minus y squared minus 4x. What's wrong with it? They're all negative. So how can I fix them? Yeah, technically, like if you think about it in your head, you can move all of them, or what can you just do? Divide by negative 1 or change the signs. Okay, so as long as you change all of them, you're in good shape. Okay, so we can just change this. 0 doesn't change to x squared plus y squared plus 4x, because essentially what we did was divide everything by negative 1. Okay, or factored out a negative 1 and then divided it. Doesn't matter. As long as you change them all, you're doing it mathematically correct. Okay. Put your x's and your y's together. So we have x squared plus 4x, and we're going to put a blank, plus y squared, but it doesn't have anything else, so it's done. Okay. Don't put blanks where they don't need to be needed. So if you would have had another y, then you would have to do the blank, but because this one doesn't have one, you don't have to. And then it's equal to 0 because I didn't have another number to move over. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I only added 1 blank, so I only add 1 blank to the right side. How do I get this blank filled in? 4 divided by 2 squared is 4. My new equation, square root, sine, square root. What is it? X plus 2 squared. I didn't do anything to the y squared. And 0 plus 4 is 4. What's my center? Negative 2, 0. Again, 0 because there's nothing with that y squared, so we're good to go. What's your radius? Square root of 4, which is 2, just to remind you how to do that. So negative 2, 0 is right here. Up, down, left, right, 2. And that's it. Is everybody good? Yeah. All right. So your quiz, the very beginning is just like your first 5. It's really easy. It's just writing the equation. I don't see anything weird on it. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are writing the equation using completing the square. 11 and 12 are easy. 13, 14 is easy. Again, they give you the multiple choice. So remember, when you take that square root of 34, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a perfect number. So just do the best you can. Okay. Same thing on 15, 16, and 17 is good. Make sure you watch the radius. 18, and then 19 and 20, you're completing the square again, but there's no hard ones like that 19 on ours. So you guys are good to go. Got it? Any questions? So the ones that are already said, it won't take you very long. The other ones might take you a little bit longer. So I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording.